deep and powerful dive into the full moon in Scorpio forecast for all signs. But honestly, this video is actually kind of serving more as a May all signs reading, because we're going to expand beyond the full moon in Scorpio and look at the astrology for this month, because it is rich, emotional, and alchemical. I'll also be talking about some of the transits for all signs that are playing parts in the energy you're feeling and the things that are unfolding in your life, going back even up to 2 weeks or more, that will still be affecting this full moon and affecting May. And that's because it's been a while since I've done a video. I know. If you're new here, nice to meet you. I'm the Phoenician Priestess. And if you're not new, I've missed you all. I've been so sick, which is what these things on my neck are for. And I've been putting off doing a video because of this, but I think my voice is okay now, enough. It's been a few weeks though, but I think we're good enough to do this. So bear with me. Sorry if I'm a bit sick. And without further ado, let's jump into your video. So if you're new here, I highly recommend you stay tuned until you go past the introduction, the beginning, because this is the part where I talk about the predictions for the collective, the energy for the collective, the things that could be coming up, and what makes this Scorpio full moon different than any of the other Scorpio full moons throughout, any of the other years. And, and there could be something in here for you. For some people, sometimes, because I'm not seeing your individual natal chart, but I could if you want to book a one-on-one reading. But because I'm not, sometimes for some people, they'll actually resonate more with the collective energy than for some of the all signs. So please do listen to the collective. Okay. And today we're also going to be pulling a card for each sign. So be sure to listen to not just your rising sign, which is the most important, but your sun, moon, and rising, because there could be an intuitive message coming through with the tarot for you. Now, the full moon in Scorpio is peaking on May 12th. Oh, that was just my tarot cards. I've been tarot reading since I was 16. In typical tarot reading fashion, no, there is no such thing as an accident. And we had 4 cards that fell. And so this intro video is not going how I initially planned, but we're going to go with it. So we have the Devil upright, Temperance upright, Death upright, and the 9 of Cups. Okay, so this message could be for some of you listening to this. For if it's not for you, just ignore, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. But someone is going through a very, very big death of the ego, a very, very big internal death and rebirth, which actually is matching the cards, especially with the cards are actually matching the nature of the full moon. Someone listening to this is going through a very, very big death and rebirth of the ego, of the psyche, of your understanding of the world and of the heart. You're being forced to see and to look at what part you have played in where you are right now, in where you are holding yourself back from achieving your true wishes, where you are from holding yourself back in having the happiness, the love that you want in your life. You don't realize how many blessings you actually have around you and that are floating around you, that in some way, because of your own weaknesses, because of ego in some senses, because of some wounds and traumas that were holding you back, you've pushed away and pulled away from, or said no to when the universe tried to bring it forward. For some of you, you were doing so not by the traumas, the weaknesses in that sense of pushing away or saying no, but by refusing to let go of things that you should have wanted to let go of, whether it was limiting beliefs, traumas, fears brought on by through the lineage, ancestrally, through the family, things that you've used as protective mechanisms to hold you back. And the universe now, with this full moon, is allowing you to purge a lot of these things and allowing you to take another chance at seeing how you are being granted happiness in front of you. There are blessings that are coming right now that you may not see, but that are in front of you, and you have a chance of taking a lot of these. And a lot of what you're going through right now, there's a talk here of divine timing. So if you're feeling called towards things or taking action right now, Whereas in the past, you've neglected taking action towards this place, I recommend it. At the same time, if you've been holding on to something so strong, and whether it was a fear protection mechanism, someone that hurt you in some way, or anything like that, this is the time that you should be releasing it and letting go, because this is a divine timing, a divine reckoning. That is what is required to bring you forward. And there's the scales are rebalancing for justice here for some of you. There's a lot of the changes that are happening in your life. A lot of the things are being purged. There's ideas of aspects of the self and the psyche and who you thought you were, and what you thought you wanted. A lot of that is being purged and needs to be purged in order to bring you to a scenario where you are abundant and happy and fulfilled emotionally. I say emotionally because a lot of you listening to this right now, are not feeling fulfilled emotionally, or you're feeling like you're there, almost there, but not quite there, like there's something missing. And that something missing, you could have been putting the blame on external things, or you could have thought to yourself something about my life, I'm not allowed to have it. And you should know that that's really not the case at all. You can have it, but there's a part of you that needs to die, and part of you needs to see, where are you being your own worst enemy? Really, here with the devil, it also can represent themes of temptation, themes of attachment, themes of addiction, fear, unhealthy patterns, or something that has a hold on you consciously or subconsciously that is somehow holding you back from the higher vibrational things related to light, things like love, relationship, positive habit, or instead there's, again, something that's rooted in ego rather than soul. You've been making decisions from fear rather than love. And again, with that balance that's being called from temperance, this is the divine force that's at play now, saying that this full moon, the timing around it, that you're being called from something divine for moderation, for balance, for integration. And it's saying, like I said, that healing that we see and harmony that we see in the Nine of Cups. Sorry, this camera is mirrored, so it's confusing me. It is possible, but it's through disciplined spiritual alchemy and navigating from making a decision of fear to making a decision from love. Okay, and so ask yourself that a lot with this moon. Where in the past have I been making decisions from fear? And how would it have looked like if I made those decisions from love? And how can I continue that forward? If I don't go after the job I want, the person I want, the move I want, the dream I want, is that coming out of fear, or is that coming from love? And you're also being asked again through these balance to kind of blend those opposites and to understand those parts of you that may seem contradictory. And all of this is the scorpionic energy is being reflected in these cards, because with the death, all of this is really signaling this transformation, this need for, is it showing this need for transformation, this need for death and rebirth, that you really need to release what you're clinging on to. And the old self has to die, that way of choosing from fear, from trauma, from wounding, in order to be brought to the new self. And your reward is that wish fulfillment that you didn't realize was still an opportunity, still buzzing around you. But it's not the kind that you get from making decisions from fear, or from clinging, or from being stuck to your ego, or from not being aligned with your true self. It's the kind that comes with release, with listening to the divine, with alchemizing the dark into light. And this is so perfect. I mean, these just fell on their own, but really it's so aligned to this full moon and actually the energy of this full moon. Now let's switch over from tarot. I wasn't going to do tarot for the collective, but as any good reader knows, you never ignore the cards that fall out when they fall out. Especially, I mean, these are just a perfect match. And let's go into what the astrology says for the collective, and then we'll get into the all signs. I just want to announce as well that the winner, every 4 videos, I announce a winner, 4-ish. The winner for this video is going to be in the description box. If you are the winner, congratulations. You can, excuse me. See what I mean? It's been worse the past month. It's ever since the fires in LA. Okay. If you're the winner, you can use the link in my bio to schedule your free reading. And if you want your chance to win a free 60-minute astrology natal chart reading with me, all you have to do is subscribe and comment, and you can comment on as many videos as you want. And every single comment, once you've subscribed, counts as an entry. And then I will announce in video once it's been around 4 videos, and you're welcome anytime to book a reading with me. And of course, besides that, if you want your own one-on-one, very in-depth 60 to 90 or even longer astrology readings, we can do anything from a natal chart deep dive to couples astrology reading, whether it's compatibility or to find out your love story for this life, regardless of just the person you might be with now or not be with now. We could do timing when it comes to love, to money, to career. What is your purpose? We can look at your health forecast for the year. We could look at transits for the next 6 months and a bunch more. To see all of those readings that I offer, you can go to PhoenicianPriestess.com, and the link is also in the bio. You can also follow my new little baby Instagram. And you can even, to keep up to date with some of the other things I follow, and with my main bread and butter job where I actually have my own mental health coaching practice as a certified and accredited mental health coach and parts work therapist, you can schedule there if you want someone that combines the practical, the skill set, as well as the spiritual and esoteric knowledge. Or you can also follow me on Heal with Words by Petra. Okay, now let's get back to the collective astrology parts. I didn't even get to finish telling you the degrees this full moon is at before we had the divine tarot message come through. So the full moon is Scorpio, is peaking on May 12th at 9:56 a.m. PST at 22 degrees of Scorpio. 22, beautiful number. It's actually a master number that is linked to union, to love, to true divine love, divine union, soulmates, destiny, divine timing. And that's very interesting that it's happening at the 22 degrees, which is this number of divine union and destiny and divine timing, when this full moon in Scorpio is actually conjuncting Juno. And now, if you've watched my videos before, I use asteroids a lot. And if you're not familiar, Juno is the asteroid of soulmates, of marriage, of commitment, of divine partners. And it is at 24 degrees of Scorpio. So this alone makes the love and partnership theme of this full moon absolutely undeniable. But it's very important to note that Juno is actually currently in retrograde, and it will be in retrograde until July 10th. And that's interesting to consider. This is not the only impact on this full moon that is going to be in retrograde, but it does mean that there is an aspect, perhaps, of something from the past. Scorpio itself actually rules the tarot card, is associated with the tarot card Death, which came up in the one of the cards that fell out and out of a very, very big tarot deck. It is about death and rebirth. And so it is death and rebirth. It often ties to this theme of bringing something from the past and alchemizing it. So for a lot of people, this full moon could be bringing a commitment from the past, whether it's love or otherwise, or could be causing you to look back at the past to learn, maybe bring lessons to the future. Or someone or something from the past could appear, whether just psychically in your mind to reflect, to learn, or to push you to take action, or they themselves could be coming forward. Now, this ruler of the full moon is Mars, and I prefer, again, ancient astrology. So in ancient astrology, the ruler of Scorpio is Mars. In modern astrology, the ruler is Pluto. I consider Pluto as the secondary ruler. Now, the ruler of this full moon is in Leo, and this adds a sense of passion, courage, and bold emotional expression. The secondary ruler, Pluto, has actually just gone retrograde in Aquarius. So that's the second effect of this moon that's having a retrograde element. And so this is kind of inviting us to have deep reflection on our collective transformation being in Aquarius, and our place as well when it comes to our role of where we are in the collective and what we're doing for that, and how we are in terms of our idealistic vision of life and of ourselves. And this moon is also very beautifully trining Saturn at 29 degrees of Pisces. Now, this is interesting because 29 degrees is actually the critical degree. It's the anaretic degree. It's the degree before where we ingress, we move in to Aries. And so this is signaling, especially with Saturn here at 29 degrees, it's signaling some kind of very big karmic closure. At the same time, this full moon is trining the North Node, also in Pisces, which is giving this full moon a sense of fated emotion, release, higher guidance, fate, things really just like temperance. This is very temperance energy, the card that came up here. Divine timing. A lot of things are happening right now. Our divine timing are related to lessons that you're going through, the collective is going through in life, and are serving a higher purpose, even if you're being asked to release, to learn, this kind of stuff. We also have Vesta, which is an asteroid, and Black Moon Lilith that are also in Scorpio, activating themes of feminine reclamation, sacred fire, shame, and bringing a little bit of death and rebirth or alchemization of trauma energy. On top of that, Neptune ingressed into Aries very recently on April 30th. And Aries is the beginning of the 12 signs of the zodiac. So Neptune ingressing into Aries starts a whole new cycle that lasts 200 and something years. And this is one of the things that are going to define this generation, especially being in Aries. And this is one of the things that is actually the keys to also understanding the meaning behind Nostradamus's predictions. Because a lot of very, very brilliant astrologers, not a lot, actually, a few, a very small handful, have believed they cracked the code to actually understanding what Nostradamus was saying in his predictions, because Nostradamus himself was primarily an astrologer. If you actually look at the beginning of his prediction book, he says to you that what he says is encoded and can only be understood by one who reads and understands the stars. And one of the keys is timing of when Neptune is in Aries. And Neptune happening in Aries, Neptune being in Aries, Neptune was in Aries at times when the world saw massive, massive change that impacted how the rest of the world played out, whether it was tied to the American Civil War, the French Revolution, and we can see sort of the same energy playing out right now around the world. And Neptune ingressing into Aries on April 30th came right after a very powerful energetic cluster that happened in Pisces towards the last few degrees, where we saw Saturn, Venus, the North Node, all conjunct in late Pisces at the end of April. And these are slower moving planets, whether we're talking about Saturn or Neptune or the North Node, which is not a planet, but is talking about the nodal point of the moon. But these are all things that they are all impacting the energy of the full moon right now and the timing for you and the collective in May. So this whole month is a cosmic handoff between sort of the Piscean flow of feelings and intuition and dreams and idealism, and the Aries fire and new beginning and initiation. So while this is all still technically a full moon video for Scorpio, the energy is too interconnected to just look at this in isolation, especially because I couldn't do a video the last 2 weeks. So this is kind of, think of it as your full moon forecast, but also your May energetic overview for all signs through the lens of this deep activating Scorpio full moon. Don't forget as well to check for the winner in the description box. Comment your moon and sun sign below. Comment if you have any questions, wondering how this is going to hit your charts. Or also, what I absolutely love to hear and means so much to me is if you tell me what of these themes are already popping up in your life, or what you liked about this video. Maybe that you haven't seen, or maybe that was really interesting for you to hear. And don't forget that if you want to take part in the next giveaway, all you have to do is subscribe, comment to let me know you've subscribed initially, and then just continue commenting after that. Okay. Let's get into the all signs. Don't forget to listen to your rising sign first, and then listen to your sun and moon. All three can give you insight, especially during a full moon when emotions and identity and life direction are all being activated. And don't forget that I'll also be pulling cards for each sign as well, for an intuitive message to come in and complement the astrology. So that's another reason you'll want to listen to all three signs. Okay. And let me think. Anything else? I think that's it. Moving on to your all signs and starting with Aries. Hi, Aries, and welcome to your full moon forecast and your May astrology forecast. Don't forget to listen to your rising and then your sun and moon, and make sure to check out the intro for the collective energy, the big astrological themes, and all the powerful transits that are influencing this forecast, because I won't repeat a lot of them. But this forecast for the full moon does not just go into the full moon, it goes into all the other effects that I talk about at the beginning, plus additional aspects that and advanced astrological methods that I use, which is why you might find it's very accurate, or it goes into very specific details. I'll also be pulling tarot cards at the end of your forecast for an intuitive message, so stay tuned for that. Now, the Scorpio full moon is happening on May 12th, 2025, at 22 degrees of Scorpio. Excuse me. I don't know how much editing we're going to be doing because I'm going to be coughing a lot. I'm coming off a lot of sicknesses here. Okay, and it will be peaking at 9:56 a.m. PST. For you, Aries, what can this full moon bring? This can bring an emotional entanglement. Was that the word that Will Smith's wife used? Entanglement. Anyway, when she talked about how she was cheating on him, this could bring an emotional entanglement that might be coming to a head. This could also mean a financial situation where two people's finances are tied together, whether someone's providing for you, you're providing for someone, or you have money put into something together. Investment. This also can sometimes talk about things to do with taxes, or this can talk about, again, very emotionally deep, and almost like obsessive feeling of an entanglement coming to some kind of a turning point in what you might share or owe emotionally or materially. Someone could be receiving a payout, a loan approval, or energetic closure on something karmic, especially related to intimacy or dependency. A joint financial issue or a shared resource with a partner may come into focus. You might be negotiating terms or separating something that was previously entangled. Someone could be going through a divorce or changes related to that, whether it's finalization or it being triggered, or it going to the next level. Additionally, someone can actually be going through the opposite energy of intense soul merging, like very Gomez and Morticia Adams merging together. You could have a culmination of intimacy, a culmination of pleasure, a culmination of energy building up that just releases and takes you to new levels of connection where it feels like your souls are really merging. You could also be reaching new heights in terms of passion and exploration and intimacy together. Some of you could be releasing traumas of a sexual nature or other very deep-seated wounded traumas, and totally releasing it. Some of you could be having a breakthrough when it comes to past betrayals, secrets, or trust issues. There's a theme here of reclamation of power. For some of you, a message or realization could come through a sibling or someone in your neighborhood or a previous casual connection, and it can trigger a deep emotional process or closure. Some of you could be feeling the urge to confess something hidden or to publish something vulnerable or to creatively express a long-held truth. Some of you may be dealing with, heaven forbid, but the themes of mourning or death and loss. For some of you, a spiritual belief, dream, or worldview may be dissolving and a new one is becoming ready to emerge, but you're still taking time to integrate it. For some of you, you could be feeling the emotional weight of something ending, yet you're being prepared for a divine intuitive leap into a higher timeline, and you can kind of sense that this is the beginning of something new and more aligned. For some of you, you're receiving divine support to bring structure to your inner healing or your spiritual path, especially if it's anything tied to mental health, grief, trauma, or letting go. For some of you, you're having senses of a divine spiritual awakening and an ego death, and you're being put through a very death and rebirth phase where it feels like you're being born again. And either you're coming out through the born again part where you see the light at the end of the tunnel, or you feel like you're in the cocoon parts where you're having to alchemize a lot of it. So for you, Aries, a lot of the energy may feel intense and passionate right now, but don't let fear of loss stop you from stepping fully into your personal power. Okay, let's do your card pull. I did not consider the fact that I record this with one hand and I need to shuffle with the other hand. So let's pause the video here. One sec. Okay, I am back. The mic is sitting on its stand. Let's pull a card for you. Okay. Aries, what do they need to know for this full moon? So there is a message coming here. Ace of Cups reverse. There's a message coming here that you're feeling right now very emotionally shaken, and that it's truly an emotionally volatile time. And you feel as if the blessings are being taken in front of you, that in fact, you may be feeling like you're questioning your connection with the divine, or questioning whether or not even if the divine exists, or if you don't have the right relationship, or if you're feeling some kind of shame, or for some, you feel like maybe the universe is abandoning you, or maybe blessings are meant for other people and not for you. What you don't realize is a lot of this upheaval emotionally and life-wise that you're otherwise going through is actually required. It's in itself, and this might seem very hard to understand saying this, but in a way, it's a blessing in disguise. Doors are closing right now for you to be able to actually have one come that is the right door for you to open. And very soon you will be receiving what seems like a divine blessing, even though right now all the things that are happening around you that are being orchestrated that seem heavy are in a way still divine. And you're going to have a moment where you are dropped you're dropped the opportunity to build a life where you're finally happy and fulfilled emotionally, and where there's a lot of love. You feel there's a part of you that has been missing the love and feeling like your cup has run empty, and you've been wanting your cup to run full. And though it doesn't make sense right now, but one day you're going to look back at this time frame and around these changes that are happening right now with this full moon, and you're going to see that a lot of it was necessary to give you a chance where you build a life where your cup is being poured into and where your cup is full. And just know that right now the divine is orchestrating a lot of the things that are happening and changing in your life. So keep that in mind, Aries. Okay, don't forget to listen to your other placements, whether or not sun or moon or rising, and comment what resonated, what advice else you might want or need. And thank you, Aries. Okay, Taurus, suns, moons, and risings. I prefer holding the mic in my hand, but we're pulling tarot cards today, so let's see how this goes. Welcome to your full moon in Scorpio. There we go. To your full Scorpio full moon reading. The Scorpio full moon is happening on May 12th, 2025 at 22 degrees of Scorpio, and it will be at 9:56 a.m. PST. Don't forget to listen to your rising, your sun, and your moon. And also to please listen to the intro for a full energetic picture and to get the collective predictions and to know what makes the Scorpio full moon so unique. At the very end, I will be pulling a tarot card for an intuitive message that needs to come through to further get the message across to you. Okay, so for you, Taurus, you are having a major shift or culmination that is unfolding when it comes to your one-on-one relationships, whether it's romantic or very close friendship, business, or otherwise. Something could be ending, could be leveling up, or could be revealing its true form. You are one of the signs that are going to be feeling this energy and this real life event aspect of this full moon the strongest. This is very likely a time for you to be experiencing emotional change in either direction when it comes to love, relationships, partnerships, who you are in partnership, belonging, and soulmate connections. This could be bringing a partner's truth. I was going to say true self, truth, or emotional state to light, or you may realize what you actually truly need in a partnership and what you no longer can tolerate. This could also be a time where you could be having issues with best friends or soulmate friendships, or you could be meeting one and have it, or you can have a friendship go up to the next level. I don't mean friendship in a normal friendship sense. This feels more like a soul tribe, like a soulmate in a friendship type of form, right? Those types of very, very, very close best friends that felt more like soulmates. You could be feeling a pull between your own desires, your own identity, your own wants and needs, and someone else's expectations and your identity within a relationship. This could be stirring up feelings about past dynamics or long-standing emotional patterns you have where you've needed to learn how to balance you and the other. There is a chance for you that someone could be returning from the past, or you could be thinking about reconnecting with someone. And something about this could feel fated for you, but I still advise you to just tread carefully. Because Juno is in retrograde right now as the moon conjuncts it. So this could mean that soul contracts could be activating or could be unraveling. And this could mean that you're feeling yourself looking to the past or that someone from the past is looking forward at you. For sure, as well, in general, passion and emotional intensity are coming up in your internal world, in your private world, but also maybe in your home and your family. You could be feeling the need to protect your space or to reestablish your sense of safety. You could have a love interest coming up that has to do with your home or your family or your ancestral homeland, or that could feel like home. You could be taking the next step to move in with a love relationship or a partner, like to live together. A family matter or a memory could come up that influences how you relate to others. You could be entering a phase that has to do with you kind of reaching your next spiritual level of consciousness. Excuse me. I'm so sick. I'm so sorry. Okay. And you could be feeling like through emotional ups and downs and through mental health changes and awarenesses and achievements that you are getting flashes of insights, flashes of connection to spirit, to God, or mystical experiences that push you and lead you towards your own healing journey. You could be releasing a lot of limiting beliefs, a lot of solitude, a lot of, limiting beliefs themselves about healing and about mental health and spirituality that could be being gone and let go and being replaced with something more embodied to your truth. You could be feeling pushed to solidify your long-term dreams and goals and aspirations and to go back and not ignore a certain dream or goal that you've had in mind, especially when it comes to ones around creativity or visibility or community or soul tribe. And communities that you could be in or friendships could be shifting, and you could be feeling less tolerant of service level connections and more drawn to that soul tribe, soulful, meaningful type of connection. Okay, let's do your cards. Okay, Taurus need to hear right now, Spirit. Hangman. Okay, so what I'm getting intuitively from this is a lot of you are feeling like you've reached a turning point in a journey, and a lot of you are feeling like you've been humbled in a lot of ways. And in a lot of ways, a lot of you are having a hard time surrendering and having a hard time letting go of things that you've had to. And you're being very stubborn, very Taurian about something. And you've also been feeling the want and need to control a lot, whether it's to do with relationship. You're in a way, you're being like the ostrich that's putting its head under the soil, not wanting to see the way that the direction the universe is trying to push you towards. And a lot of the lessons that you're supposed to be seeing, the direction that you're supposed to be going. And so your message here is to surrender, to release, and to allow the universe to take you where you should be taken, and to release the fear of change and the fear of losing control that you have. Yes. And it's this that's been keeping you feeling like you're stuck in limbo. And it's this that's been keeping you feeling like that you're not going anywhere and you're not making progress. And that's going to happen soon when you allow yourself to release control, to release fear of change, to release unnecessary stubbornness, and old habits and patterns that are keeping you there. Okay, moving on to Gemini. Gemini suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your full moon in Scorpio forecast and your overall May energy forecast. The full moon is happening on May 12th, 2025 at 22 degrees of Scorpio, and it will peak at 9:56 a.m. PST. You're not going to want to miss the intro because I talk about the significance of this full moon, all the different collective predictions, energetic themes, transits, why this moon is more of a typical lunation, and the meaning behind the numerology of the exact point of the moon. Stay tuned as well for the end of this reading because we will be doing tarot cards as well to pull forward an intuitive message just for you. Okay, so Geminis, what to expect. For you, a health situation or a work situation could be coming to a point of culmination or change. So expect something to shift in your daily routine, your body, or your job structure. Some of you could be very sick or going through some kind of a health change or something that seems like a health crisis, but don't worry, it's actually happening in order to bring some certain things to your awareness and to allow you to become more healthier and to shine a light on what's happening in your life that needs, in your health, in your body, in your daily routine, that needs your attention. For some of you, if you've been dealing with a certain health issue, especially to do with stomach, I'm getting for some of you stomach for sure, chest, lungs, jaw, you could be feeling a change coming, whether you find a solution for it or you find yourself suddenly healing. Some of you could be starting a new diet or have breakthroughs when it comes to your diet, your health, your fitness routine. Some of you could be finishing a project, shifting your schedule, or finally breaking free of an unstable habit. Unstable. Like something that is just not sustainable in a sense like that. Some of you could be having a new coworker join your team or hire someone new on your team if you have your own company. Or you could be in a situation with a coworker that is resurfacing for closure or for healing. Some of you may be needing to set better emotional boundaries around time, effort, or caregiving, especially if others have expected you to overgive. Some of you could be experiencing something happening with your house pet if you have a pet. This could be adopting a new pet. This could be something to do with the pet's life, like giving birth or a health issue for the pet, or some kind of change with your relationship with the pet. A negative interpretation of this, which I don't like, is it could be a pet passing away, which is what happened recently in my family when a few of us had the full moon in our sixth house. For some of you, a conversation or decision could land this week that shifts a lot of your financial or value-based priorities. For some of you, you could be receiving a message, an email, or do some kind of a course or decide to hire some kind of a mentor or trainer that will transform either your physical self, your fitness, your health, your looks, or how you show up in your daily work life and your daily, work aspect. For some of you, a belief you've had about what you should do, or a mindset or a limitation is finally breaking down, and it's making space for a more authentic rhythm or workflow. For some of you, your leadership role, your career, your purpose, or your public presence is being rewired. So some of you are being nudged to lead with soul and vision and not with the old way the things were done in this world. For some of you, that means changing careers or changing how you do things or changing what it means for you to be fulfilled in this life or in your career or in your output in this world. And some of you are going to be taking this as a spiritual vocation or making a career shift or being more aligned with the use of your talents and your voice. And here, you're really feeling energetically or even in real practical sense supported in making long-term changes to your discipline, to your goals, to your structure. Even when it comes to things to do with travel, publishing, spirituality, higher education, astrology. If you want to hire an astrologer, hello, I know a great one. And for some of you, something you've been studying or believing, maybe integrating in a very real, very tangible way, or you may be preparing to teach or share it. And you're also feeling this culmination after a period of about 1.5 years, 2 years, where you've undergone very, very big and deep philosophical changes, spiritual changes, possibly a whole spiritual awakening, or your view of the entire world in a way has shifted, and you feel a lot of that culminating now. Okay, Gemini, I just realized I know a Gemini that is very accurate towards your card just popped up and it fell down. So please excuse me. Gemini, for you, you're wandering. Your soul is wandering. Your mind is wandering. Your emotions are wandering. You're wandering and you're wondering. You feel you're looking out into the horizon and wondering when the ships are going to come in. You're waiting. You feel something is coming. Something new is coming. And you find yourself waiting and pondering what that means for you and where your life is going now, looking back a lot into the things that you've had to let go and wondering where the new path is taking you. I'm getting this visual, this image, if you've ever seen Hercules, of when he leaves his adopted parents who found him on the road, and he felt like he never belonged, and he feels alone, and he's going on this journey alone, and suddenly he's trying to make his place in the world, and he wants to he finds out that his dad is Zeus, and he wants to make Zeus proud, and he wants to no longer feel like a pariah and feel the place. It's like that song from that scene, Go the Distance. I will search the world. I will face the odds. I will do anything. I will go the distance to find where I belong. That's a lot of what you're feeling and what you're going through right now. And with this card being in the upright, it's saying, okay, Gemini, your ships are actually coming in, but make sure that you're actually ready to receive them. You've made a lot of the shifts that you've had to make. And you're finally now standing at the edge of expansion. You're Hercules on his journey. He's found his dad. He knows what he has to do. And he has this moment of vision, of foresight, of seeing himself like rise up to Olympus, and he has to now be disciplined and not get distracted and stay focused on the long game. And here it's saying that now that a lot of your internal shifts have started to align, now externally opportunities from far away are starting to align to make your vision come to reality and to make this all come true. It's in a sense like, yeah, it's genuinely like, go watch Hercules, that Disney animated version. You're going to find that within there's a lot of messages for you, because the future you desire is truly within your reach. And things are aligning for you because you've made the decisions, but now you just have to stay on track here and not get stuck in the negative, in the lack, in the in-between. I'm sorry, it's not focusing. How to make it focus? And look how nice my nails are. Just kidding. Not get stuck in the in-between of it. while it comes in. So that's very exciting, Gemini. And don't forget, go watch Hercules. Leave a comment if this resonated. And don't forget to watch also Sun, Moon, and Rising, all 3. Thank you. Hello, Cancer, and welcome to your full moon in Scorpio forecast. The full moon is happening on May 12th at 22 degrees of Scorpio, peaking at 9:56 a.m. PST. This isn't just your typical full moon forecast. I'll be going into May's biggest transits. If you want to know what those are in detail, check out the intro, but that includes Saturn at the critical degree, Neptune's ingress into Aries, what the ruler of this moon is doing, Juno conjuncting the moon being retrograde, so many other things. Don't forget to listen to the collective predictions as well at the beginning. I go into all of that, but just know that all of the things I'm predicting for you are using advanced astrological insight and thinking and pulling in a lot of these things. And so it's going a little bit beyond the full moon, but through the lens of this full moon. Okay. And at the very end, we're going to be doing a tarot card pull to get an intuitive message coming through. So for you, Cancer, you could be experiencing a very powerful emotional turning point when it comes to your creativity, your romantic life, or your relationship to joy, pleasure, self-expression. And for some of you, if you've been wanting to have a kid or get pregnant, it could be an emotional turning point some way when it comes to pregnancy or being parents, or if you have kids, your relationship with your child. If you are one of the ones where the romance part is appealing to you, a romantic situation could be reaching some kind of a crossroad, or you could be feeling the urge to express something emotionally raw. It can be coming either to an ending because you realize it's no longer fulfilling or not what you want, or there's no chemistry, or they end it because of some kind of explosion, or it could actually be going to the next level. It could have started out as something where you didn't know where it was going, or you didn't expect it to go this way, or you felt a connection from the beginning, but now it's actually going to the next level of seriousness. It's kind of going more from just, a romantic entanglement to something more and stronger. For some of you, a creative project, a small business, or a hobby could be reaching the crossroads, could either be having an ending or going to the next level. For some of you, you could be feeling nostalgic, emotionally charged, or even jealous, or jealousies from the past could be coming up, or emotions from the past could be coming up, and they could be coming up for you to heal and transform. For some of you, there could be changes when it comes to, that theme of children or fertility that could be coming up, whether symbolically or literally. You could be making progress here, or things could seem like an emotional culmination. You could be getting frustrated if it's not, if, for example, you're having fertility issues. But these are, again, coming up to actually shine light on a new chapter and improvements when it comes to that. There's also here suggesting that this full moon is also, there's a tie to your self-worth and your personal value and money and your assets. So you could be finally claiming your voice or your talent in a more confident way. Just want to make sure this is still on. Yes, in a more confident way. Or you could be investing in your hobbies, your passions, your small business, investing in fertility, investing in romance more directly. If there was a romantic or creative chapter that once made you feel small or unseen, it could now serve as kind of motivation and fuel for self-embodiment, for bold ownership, and for setting boundaries more in an empowering way. For some of you, your public image, career direction, purpose, or calling may begin to feel more spiritually charged or even confusing at first, but that's because you're being called slowly to a new soul-aligned path, and that path will slowly emerge if you don't directly know what that is yet. And this could be the starts around this time of the first whispers of a reinvention to your professional life and to your career path and your purpose that aligns more with your essence than with your conditioning that you've had up to this point. For some of you, the moon trining Saturn especially supports long-term growth through discipline, faith, spirituality, further education, or travel. So you could be getting ready to commit to something that expands you emotionally, spiritually, to a big trip. A lot of spiritual awakening changes you've had, or changes to your spirituality, or maybe you've been studying or in some kind of course or education. This could be leading to changes to what gives you joy in life and to where you're getting your happiness from. Overall, Cancer, this full moon might be activating deep feelings of pride, visibility, and desire to create or to love freely, but it's asking you to release the shame or fear that's been blocking your joy, and to pay attention to the spiritual lessons that are coming up around you and that have been kind of culminating. You might not see, but there's actually been a tie to a lot of the spiritual changes you've gone through the last year and a half, 2 years, to a lot of the things that are happening right now for you, whether it's those of you who are experiencing it through fertility and children, those of you who are experiencing it through romance and sex and passion, or those of you who are experiencing it through small business, passion, hobbies, and your own endeavors. Okay, let's get a tarot message for you. Hopefully the thing keeps falling out. Okay. Cancer. Cancer, I'm getting a few different messages for you here. There's a theme of greed. I don't necessarily think it's coming from you. But I think there's that presence right now. Cancers, you tend to be too self-sacrificing. And for some of you, you may not be realizing where you've been overgiving and you feel totally worn out. And there's someone in your life, in your vicinity around you, that has been very active in your daily life that you should be aware of. There's a theme here of either hyper dependence, where you're being hyper dependent on someone or they're being hyper dependent on you. Or there's a theme of someone not being who you thought they were. I'm also getting, be wary of, be wary of greed. That's definitely a theme here. And ask yourself, are you truly independent? Or do you just think you are? How self-sufficient are you really? Do you also have wounds of worthiness? And it's like you're trying to prove your value from material successes, and by getting the approval of others. And although you, of course, deserve all of that abundance and peace, but not at the cost of your soul, your freedom, your happiness. And it's okay to rebuild that worthiness from the ground up. And it seems like you're feeling like for a while that you've had to prove yourself in that way. And for some of you, that's caused you to act in a way that's erratic. For others of you, that's what's causing maybe over-reliance on someone or over-giving from yourself that is causing you to feel, this like imbalance. So be aware of that, because there's a chance here for harmony and to bring things back into balance, but you have to be able to rely more on yourself and to not always be seeking the approval of others, or whether you get that through overachieving in the material sense, or if you get that from overgiving, or if you get that from over self-sacrificing. And those are the things that the universe wants you to pay attention to and look at now. Hello, Leo. Leo's suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your Scorpio full moon forecast. This isn't just a typical full moon forecast video. It's actually a full May energy update. I hope you do not hear that loud motorcycle in the background. I'm sorry. I am currently in Los Angeles, and no matter what time of the day it is, I purposely record these at night to try and have less noise, but it just does not happen in LA. Okay. This is not just a typical, at least it's not a crazy person screaming outside on the street, so we're good. Okay, this is not just a typical full moon forecast video. It's an overall May energy forecast for you, because we use advanced astrology here. because I haven't been able to do a video in a few weeks because of my current health state, we're going to be talking about other big players that are affecting this full moon time. To get more info on that, please do not miss the intro. But I will be considering all of those things when we comes to your full moon forecast. And that includes things like Saturn being at the critical degree, Neptune's fresh ingress into Aries, Mars, the ruler of this full moon, transiting right now. It's transiting actually, Leo, in your sign of Leo. Juno retrograde and its conjunction to the full moon, as well as the other aspects this full moon is making. Don't forget to listen to your rising, then your sun, and then your moon. And do not miss the intro. And at the very end, we're going to be doing a tarot card pull to get an intuitive message for you as well. For you, Leo, you could be experiencing a deep emotional shift or culmination when it comes to your home, your family, or your living environment. You could be going to visit your family or your hometown where you grew up right now. You could be changing where you live. There could be repairs having to do with your house, or you could be getting, sorry, my back. You could be getting a new life, you could be having a new life update, home update. You could be, whether, if you live in like a van or if you live in a boat or you live in a house or an apartment, you could be having to do upgrades, updates, things could be going wrong, or you could be buying a new one or moving to a new one, or someone could be moving in. Something about your foundation, physical or emotional, is being revealed or released. This could be an ending or a change within your household or family dynamics. Some of you, your relationship with your mother or your relationship as a mother, because it's more about the female kind of mother figure in your life, or if a woman figure is being emphasized right now and could be taking a lot of your emotional or time energy. You could be feeling pulled towards your public or career life and your private and emotional needs or your family needs. And you could be realizing that it's time to reset boundaries that protect your inner world. This full moon could bring ancestral healing or emotional release connected to past family patterns, especially ones that could be affecting your ability to feel safe or to feel supported. This full moon for you is highly personal and also physical. So your energy, your appearance, or your identity are undergoing a bold transformation. You could be feeling very energized to be reevaluating who you are, how you're showing up in the world, if you're living your truth, your true embodiment, to change your appearance, to change how you dress, to change how you talk, walk, to do a glow up. And this could be changing aspects of your inner emotional state, or aspects of where you live, or aspects of your relationship with your family or who you live with. You could be feeling more assertive, energized, or maybe even reactive in your closest relationships in your private life. Something about you could be feeling more intense to other people right now. At the same time, within all of this, your spiritual views, your worldview, your beliefs, your life philosophy could suddenly be shifting. This is at the beginning of this happening, so it could be slowly dissolving what no longer resonates and starting to get glimpses and inspiration of new things. Some of you could be feeling a desire to travel, to publish, to teach, or to deepen your spiritual practice. Again, this is at the beginning, so even if the path isn't fully clear yet, remember these words because the path will start to emerge soon. For some of you, with the aspects of this full moon, it's really supporting emotional depth, intimacy, financial healing, trauma healing, closing chapters, entanglements. I've used that word like 4 times today. Trauma responses, alchemizing the darkness, the limiting beliefs, the wounds into light. This full moon is really bringing like this really beautiful caterpillar to butterfly energy, very cathartic energy, very transformative energy, very alchemizing, yes, very phoenix rising energy. For you, it is really a powerful time to reclaim your inner fire and to choose how you want to be seen, supported, and protected without apologizing for your needs. Excuse me, Leos, I didn't say it in your video, but I went on about it a little bit in the intro. I'm quite sick, so lack of breathing makes communicating a bit hard sometimes. Okay, let's pull a card for you, Leo. Okay. Leo, some of you are being incredibly stubborn. And for some of you, that could be a good thing. But for more of you, I'm sensing it's an unwillingness to shift into something new. You're stuck in your old ways, and it's actually keeping you stuck from progressing in your life. It's keeping you stuck from progressing spiritually. It's keeping you stuck from progressing career-wise. It's keeping you stuck from progressing relationally, and it's keeping you stuck from progressing healing-wise. So in general, it's keeping you stuck from progressing in all the aspects. And you're actually being called in some ways to change how you've been doing things, to break the rules a little, especially rules that were never really yours to begin with. And to this is like that spiritual awakening energy that I told you you're going to understand more. Like it's starting to stir right now, but you might not fully understand the full picture of that until it continues to stir a little bit more. So pay attention, because you're being called to release a lot of the ways that you've been conditioned, and in a way, not to just rebel for rebellion's sake, but to you're at the precipice of breaking away from conditioning and into a really big spiritual awakening, and to trust your inner wisdom over fed beliefs, fed patterns, fed wisdom, fed norms, fed wants. You really need to be creating your own path forward now, your own rituals, your own dreams. This is a time for you to be your own teacher. And while some people sometimes need to While some people sometimes need to look forward a lot to be led, you are actually needing to look to yourself right now to be the teacher in this time. You have been listening sometimes too much, perhaps, or caring too much about the opinions of others. And you're being called right now. This is going to be a lesson that's going to be unfolding for a while, but there's some kind of stirring of it around this full moon to turn that back to yourself. Hello, Virgos risings, Virgo suns, Virgo moons. I'm a Virgo moon. So hello. Welcome to your Scorpio full moon forecast. The full moon is happening on May 12th, 2025 at 22 degrees of Scorpio at 9:56 a.m. PST. The energy is going to be building up from now and will be the most potent 3 days before to 3 days after. Events could unfold up till the week after. But this is not just a full moon in Scorpio reading. We're also going to be working with major planetary shifts like Saturn being at the critical degree, 29 degrees of Pisces. It's going to be affecting you a lot, Virgo. It's hitting your house of relationships, as well as Neptune's recent ingress into Aries, as well as Mars's transit through Leo. Wow. I don't know why I just did that face. So you're actually going through, like, you're Virgos, especially Virgo risings, but Virgos, you are one of the signs that is the most impacted by this time right now in the world, and also this full moon. And while through all of this, we have a powerful Juno retrograde that is exactly conjuncting the full moon. Again, be sure to listen to your rising, your sun and moon, and please check out the intro for the collective predictions, because for some people, those are very accurate, and depending on the season, can be more accurate for them than the individual signs. Okay, so for you, Virgo, what to expect with this full moon? There is some kind of a conversation, a message, or an internalized realization that could surface that brings up emotional clarity, especially around mental patterns or communication habits or career, or the topic of career, or someone that is tying to you topic-wise careerly. And it can be bringing changes into alchemizing your past wounds and traumas, or bringing you forward in relationship, or bringing you forward when it comes to intimacy. For some of you, you could literally be sending a message, like sending an email, a text, having a phone call. Some of you could be receiving an email, a text, or a phone call. Some of you could be having it in person, and this causes some big shift for you. Like, there's something really profound here to do with communication. For some of you, it could just, like I said, be an internal realization, or this can shift something internally for you that awakens a lot of, change in how you intellectualize and you think things. Like you have this really big breakthrough. For some of you, a decision may be finalized, a writing or speaking project could be completed, or a situation with a sibling or neighbor may reach resolution. Some of you could be going to visit your siblings. Some of you could be, your siblings could be visiting you. Some of you, something could be happening in the life of your siblings that is very present and pronounced for you in your life right now. For some of you, emotional information is the type of information that's being exchanged or that is moving. So don't estimate the power of words during this time. You're really being asked to not ignore, to not hold back words. At the same time, for some of you, hidden frustrations or subconscious tension may spill out unexpectedly. Especially it could be coming from energy that you could have repressed, whether it was fears or pain or, all of the stuff that has been redirected inwardly. And so it's actually very important for you right now to rest, reflect, to create a sacred space. You've been ignoring a lot of your mental health and a lot of spiritual things. You've been ignoring your intuition. So this is actually a good time for you to do that intuitive work, to surrender control, to not force, but flow, to journal, and to look at more the emotional stuff. You are slowly dissolving illusions that you've held around intimacy, or spiritual trust, merging of souls, marriage, love, sex. Shouldn't have said that word. SEX, shared finances for some of you. And you're entering a long phase of deep soul healing and energy clearing, and a phase where the merging of two souls. You can see me smiling because I just love talking about this stuff and love. And there are I know so many Virgo ascendants. They're just like, a lot of people close to me are Virgo ascendants, and that this is happening to a lot of them. Anyway, so this is a long phase of deep soul healing, deep intimacy healing, deep energy clearing. For some of you, this could look like strengthening the bond between two people and exploring love and intimacy and vulnerability and sex deeper than you ever have. For some of you, before you get to that part, you have to do either a purge first. You might have to go through hard lessons. You might have to look at yourself first. You might have to end something first. For some of you, you may have already just ended something and you could be single as a Pringle and going, I don't know what you're talking about, Phoenician Priestess. And that could be because you need to first work on your balance of independence versus dependence and who you are alone. You will know this if you've been the type of person who's totally lost themselves in relationship, who's been with people that you shouldn't have been with, and that you overstayed, or who's let yourself be treated badly. But for others of you, you're actually being asked the opposite. You've been using independence as a shield. You've been using other things as a shield, hyper independence. You're running away from deep soul connection and deep soul intimacy. And so you're being asked to clear that first. So take your time discerning what's yours, what's projected, and what you need to heal, because this is a time where you're being called to alchemize that. And with Saturn at the critical degree in your 7th house, this is marking a karmic turning point on one-on-one relationships. So you've been getting a lot of love and relationship lessons the last 1.5 to 2 years. And right now that's culminating. For some of you, something you've been tolerating may be ending. For some of you, you're being asked to define what you're truly ready to commit to or walk away from. For some of you, you're being asked to run towards something that you've previously run away from, and you're being asked to see how you could have been what has been stopping love from entering into your life. Some of you are getting the chance to make that right. And this could be the final test around long-term relationship patterns or commitments, and one opportunity to choose differently before a new dynamic begins. Some of you could be getting serious about committing to love, committing to a partner, committing to a situation. Some of you, maybe you've met someone and this is the point where it gets to that next new level of seriousness. Some of you could be proposing or getting proposed to, or could be getting engaged, or could be reaching out to an ex-flame where maybe you messed up and you want to fix it. Or you could just be meeting someone, or you could be realizing, I don't want just casual anymore. I want someone serious, because Saturn is about commitment, and Saturn at the critical degree in your 7th house is like, this is the karmic turning point when it comes to commitment to relationships and love. So like, if you're not where you're supposed to be in love, this is where you let go of it. This is where you go towards where you're supposed to be. And you commit to what divine love actually means. Like I said, for some of you, that means meeting someone, I hope, or for you, or taking it to the next level, engaged, married, serious commitment. If it's someone you let go of that you wish you didn't, getting back with them. Or for others of you, if it's fixing things you should fix before getting with the right person, it's that. For some of you that are in the wrong relationship, leaving it. Or for some of you that are going through a hard time within a relationship, seeing what has to change if you choose to go forward, and it's a chance at a new chapter here. So this could feel, like I said, like the final test in a lot of ways. And for a lot of you, that final test has a reward and a positive outcome. For all of you, it has a positive outcome. But just what I mean is, for some sooner than others, that positive outcome will come first, right? Instead of just lessons. So really, this full moon is bringing a lot, and it's not just this full moon, like I said, it's this time frame. And this full moon trining Saturn is also adding just more of this long-term support for expressing your truth within partnerships. So you don't have to hold it in anymore. The right people will honor what you need if you start honoring what you need, and if you start looking at it. For a lot of you as well, this could be a time where if you have your own small business, there's a lot of changes happening here. You could be applying to certain programs or courses or things like this. You could be communicating more, or there could be changes to do with your social media or outreach. You could be something with a vehicle, like if you could be getting a new car, getting a new boat, getting a new, jet ski, getting a new plane, motorcycle, other vehicles. You could be doing short distance travel, whether it's short distance flights or short distance driving around. Lots of different ways. And all of these different ways for some of you could be playing out within this month. So lots of stuff for you, Virgo. Overall, lots of good energy, but you are one of the signs, again, feeling this most intensely, especially when it comes to love. There could be very serious realizations you're having internally, communications you feel called to send, life-changing conversations that you're having that have to do with love. Okay, let's do a card pull for you to see what message wants to come through. Oh my God, this is such a Virgo ascendant card. And this is also kind of tying it a little bit to the Scorpio full moon, a little bit, really. Okay, so Virgo, you've had a history in the past. One of your biggest obstacles has been your mind, your head. You are your own worst enemy. You are your own, your card. You are your own biggest obstacle. How nice are my nails? Sorry, I can't help myself. Libra sun over here. You are your own worst enemy. You are your own biggest obstacle. You are your own worst inner critic. And you are also the biggest bringer of the limiting beliefs. You're the biggest what ifs. You've been making as well some decisions that you have been hiding behind the fallacy of them being practical or logical or the right thing to do. But actually, a lot of these decisions have been coming from fear and not from love, which was one of the big messages of this collective reading as well for this full moon. You have to be shifting away from fear and shifting towards love. You are also at the precipice of a new beginning and at an ending. Some of you have been having a hard time sleeping, and some of you have been lying awake. I'm getting this image of a lot of people lying awake in bed, either awake at night, restless, or so some of you staying in the morning more in bed, having a hard time getting up. Some of you, because you're Virgos, not having a hard time getting up because you practically push yourself. But others of you maybe are what's that phrase that the youngest generation uses? Bed rotting, spending way more time than you used to in bed, whether it's those of you who are bed rotting, staying in the daytime, or others of you having a hard time getting out or being restless at night. I don't know why I focus so much on the bed here. There's also something that just came through of having made your bed, now sleep in it. A lot of you have the situation that you're feeling very mentally and emotionally heavy, that you feel like is weighing you down. You feel like, well, some of you don't realize that you made your bed and so now you have to sleep in it. But some of you realize that and feel like, oh, now I have to sleep in it. There's no way to get out of this. And the message is coming twofold, in the sense that you're not, no, like this is reversible. You don't have to stay stuck in this way. Stop punishing yourself, right? Everything is reversible. There's a new beginning happening. And others of you need to hear as well that it's a learning that you're learning right now. I did make my bed. And some of you didn't have that realization. You didn't realize how much you were your own worst enemy. Your mind was your own worst enemy. You were panicking over nothing, keeping yourself walled up against things you really want over nothing. The decisions you'd made, whether subconsciously, consciously, or in real life, were made your bed. And suddenly with this accountability comes a new sense of power and of freedom. Virgos, a lot of you have been holding on to pain for too long, and a lot of you have made what you've gone through or that pain a core part of your decision making or a core part of your identity. And that has to stop, whether it's rehearsing a failure you've gone through, a betrayal you've gone through, or just pain. Like healing can only begin when you let that go. And some of you are realizing that and starting that. Others of you are finally getting that gentle push to finally release. Something for a lot of you came through an end, whether it's also a very hard period coming through an ending. And now you're at the morning after the storm. Not the calm before the storm. You've already gone through the storm and now you're at the other end, the other side. A lot of you have been overthinking a lot and you just need to stop. Your overthinking is ruining your life. You're carrying what wasn't yours to hold. Let the old die and just release, close whatever chapter needs to be released. Stop carrying stories you don't need to anymore. You're not what happened to you. You're not, and allowing yourself to let good come into your life won't repeat the same mistakes from the past because you're not the same person anymore. And any fears that are coming up from that, just be very aware of that and be aware of self-sabotaging behaviors that, again, on the surface level, you could actually be thinking you're making the right decision. But in fact, you've been making, again, too many decisions from fear and you need to go towards decisions from love. You're at the precipice of not just of a new beginning and change and a new chapter and a new story for you to write. And you just have to realize where you've been the one not letting that happen. You've made up rules that are not really rules. The rules don't exist. You made them rules. And life is literally you have a decision right now to turn a lot of that upright and to have life go more in your favor in a lot of ways and to stop being your own worst enemy. You could be thinking, okay, but I'm not. But there's a type of emotional fulfillment you haven't had up to this point. I'm talking very emotionally, very mentally, very spiritually. And it's because of you being your own worst enemy, getting stuck in your head, overthinking, being way too hard on yourself. Some of you as well, you're feeling more connected to God these days and you've been praying. If you haven't, then I really recommend you start praying. Praying is going to help you a lot. I think that's maybe what was tied to the image I kept getting of the bed. Start praying before you sleep, praying when you wake up. And some of you have been praying and have reconnected to God and whatever that means to you. And that's very powerful in a lot of the profound steps you've been taking, and keep going that way. And again, the biggest message for you, which is a big message of this full moon, is notice where you're making decisions from fear, and it could be fear disguised as something else, and change that and make decisions instead from love. Always from love, never from fear. That could be in holding back a message, in choosing to date someone, to invest in a business, to move somewhere, to change your career, to anything. Where are you staying, deciding speaking, not speaking from fear? And how can you shift that into love? Okay, thanks, Virgos. Oh my God, I think you got one of the longest readings. I hope you enjoyed it. Hello, Libras, Libra suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your Scorpio full moon video. The full moon is happening on May 12th, 2025 at 22 degrees of Scorpio, lots of twos, and at 9:56 a.m. PST. Now, this video is not just a full moon forecast. We're also going to be forecasting for a lot of the energy in May. And as you know, I use advanced astrology. So we're not just looking at, the basic what house is the moon in, but we're going to be looking at the very many layers of this full moon, rulers, signs, aspects, degrees, meanings of the numbers, as well as May's biggest energy shifts. That some are still playing out from the ones that happened in April, including Neptune entering Aries, Saturn at the critical degree, Mars in Leo, Juno retrograde conjuncting the full moon. If you want to know what a lot of these mean and what the collective predictions for these are, please do not miss the intro because that's where all the juice is. Be sure also to listen to your rising, your sun, and your moon. And we're going to be doing a tarot pull at the end of this reading for you. Okay, so for you Libras, by the way, I'm a Libra sun. For you, a financial or a self-worth issue could finally reach a turning point. This could be something to do with income, ownership, value, money. For you, check your stocks. If you have stocks, this is a time to check your stocks. You could be reevaluating your stocks, your investment. This could be a good time to maybe change some of those things. Some of you are thinking of going into real estate. Oh my God, this is so wild. Because of some Libras I know. For some of you are reevaluating your assets and reevaluating your net worth and reevaluating your money and your investments right now. And you're bringing about some kind of a change in terms of how you want to do things. It's bringing a new chapter. For some of you, you could be receiving money or making a big purchase or raising your rates or recognizing what you truly need to feel secure and to feel supported. For some of you, this is a moment to confront how your deeper emotions impact your sense of self-worth. For some of you, this is so true for some Libra I know, that I was talking to this week actually about this, how this is like a time for you in terms of how your scarcity mindsets have limited your ability to receive. For some of you, you're shifting from a poverty and I can't do and a limiting belief and a limiting money mindset into taking more action. For some of you, relationship themes could be playing into your value system. A karmic pattern around giving too much or settling may become clear, or a pattern on how you feel like you've had to pick between money and career over love when in fact you haven't had to. And you're being asked to reevaluate these kind of, connections. And how it, in fact, love and the right partnership can help expand you financially. For some of you, you could be activating a network or community-related opportunity, or this time could be highlighting a friendship dynamic, or it could be highlighting bringing a long dream that you've kind of put to the side back. Some of you are feeling like you really want a soul tribe. Some of you could have just had your friends visit, or friends or soul tribe could be a theme. Some of you could be feeling more visible or driven to step up leadership-wise. Whether online or on a platform or within a team. For some of you, there's a new spiritual chapter opening up in terms of love and in terms of partnership, where the dream of divine union could be tested by reality or could be brought into reality, or you could be feeling called to connect on a soul divine union level. Some of you could start attracting or attuning to more creative inspiration and creative connections. And for some of you, you could be confronting a lot of illusions or misbeliefs that have held you back romantically. For some of you, there could be a turning point when it comes to your work happening right now. For some of you, it could be a turning point to your daily rhythm or a daily routine that could be changing suddenly. For some of you, it could be to your health. And either way, this leads to finally committing or recommitting to a new health plan or a new healing path, or walking away from something that's draining you or that doesn't belong in your daily life. This could be a chance for a lot of you to restructure your approach to health, habits, your relationship with your body, your relationship to work. especially if it's anything that's actually blocking long-term emotional stability. And you might not be realizing how things to do with your daily work life, your health, your routine, your body, your work are disrupting your emotional stability, but this is your chance to realize that and make a change. And the energy is supporting you in that way to create new systems, new patterns, new routines to protect your energy, to protect your emotional, physical, and financial life as well. And it's time for you to see that a lot of your dreams can become a reality, even your more emotional ones, if you root them with structure, and that there is not a feud happening between your logical world and your emotional world. You can have both at once. Okay. Let's pull a card. Oh, that was fast. Let's pull another one. That was a bit too fast. Am I trusting it? I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Oh, okay. Libras. So there's an aspect of needing transformation, for something having to come to an end of an ego death. There's also an aspect coming here of a new emotional beginning. So something has to die for a new emotional chapter to start. A lot of you have been ignoring a lot of your emotions, ignoring an emotional truth that you hold deep within, ignoring your intuition. And there's a call here to recenter and reconnect with your intuition and to reconnect with that sense. What in you what is it in you, in your mind, and how you've been dealing with emotions and how you've been dealing with relationships and how you've been showing up in life that has to end, that has to be killed, that has to die, that will unlock, can you see? I don't know. That will unlock a new beginning emotionally for some of you, romantically, and for some of you in terms of happiness. For Libra, for some of you, this is not going to apply for all of you, but for some of you, romance, creativity, soul connection are stirring. And that was actually matching some of like what was in your forecast. This Knight of Cups is really bringing an invitation to lead with your heart more than your head. It's really saying that follow a message or a dream or a person that is pulling you closer to that emotional truth, whether it's art or your heart or heartfelt feelings or love or a conversation. This is a moment to feel more than to go with logic. This is a moment, I get excited, with this kind of love stuff. This is a moment to stay open while also staying grounded. This could be the start of something beautiful for a lot of you, but you have to let your heart guide. You have to stay true to your intuition and not just hide behind your head. For some of you, there could be a message coming in, or you could be sending a message, and you could be feeling suddenly called to take action, being led by your emotion, being led by feelings, being led by love, and go for it. Yes, stay grounded, but go for it, because you've been, maybe in the past, you've been too focused on the logic and too focused on the head. And the Knight of Cups is really encouraging you, in fact, to take emotional-led, heart-led action towards these more soft things: love, relationship, feelings, creativity, dreams, desires, in that sense. Some of you, because the Knight of Cups often talks about, again, action. Someone could be coming forward. Someone could be coming forward in terms of love, dreams, creativity, emotions, relationships, even unlove-related relationships. But yeah, for a lot of you, there's an ego death that is happening here. And this ego death is required first, either to welcome in this love opportunity, or for you to have the ego death and bring forward to someone a love opportunity. Hello, Scorpio, suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your full moon forecast. The full moon is happening on May 12th at 22 degrees of Scorpio at 9:56 a.m. PST. and it is obviously in your sign. So you're one of the signs that will be feeling this most intensely. And this video isn't just a full moon forecast. It's an overall May energy update through the lens of this full moon, because we're going to be featuring some of the most powerful transits of the season, and using advanced astrological tools and perspectives to understand the predictions, even though this is a general reading, remember, and it will never be as accurate as doing a one-on-one personal reading. But be sure to listen to your rising, then your sun, and then your moon. And don't forget to check the intro for the full picture as well as the collective level predictions. And then at the very end, we will be doing a card pull to get some intuitive messages as well. So Scorpios, this is your personal full moon. So expect a very strong emotional culmination, realization, or release that directly involves your identity, your body, your relationships, how you show up in the world, your wants, your very sense of self, your whole I am, your whole creed is going through a phoenix moment, a death and rebirth. So something about how you've been showing up, how you've been holding emotional space, or how you are simply being is shifting. Your perception of the world may be shifting, but also how people perceive you or how you want to be perceived is shifting. And it may involve more vulnerability than usual. You could be experiencing a very big emotional purge or moment of, excuse me, been sick for a while, of raw self-truth that is no longer hiding who you are to stay safe. That cough at that time, for some of you, you've been holding back what you really want to say, and you haven't been speaking your truth or embodying your truth. And this is also coming up to be purged, and you're having changes and new chapters when it comes to that and big steps forward. For some of you, a relationship dynamic or contract can come up that challenges your sense of power, and you're being invited to choose yourself without guilt. For some of you, you're being asked to see where the sense of self versus being in a relationship is out of balance. Some of you maybe have become too dependent and too over-attached, anxiously attached, where others of you have swung the other way and maybe have become too avoidant or too hyper-independent and are using hyper-independence as a protection mechanism. And so you're being asked to put these back into balance. For some of you, a truth could emerge that changes how you view a friend or a community or a friendship, and it can help you reclaim your voice in social spaces or realize that you haven't been yourself within your community or get new friend groups, or realize that you need to embody yourself more to attract the right people. Some of you could begin to feel a softening or a surrender when it comes to relationships or love. And this could be the beginning of a long phase where clarity and love will come from embodying compassion and detachment healthily. For some of you, old dreams or beliefs about love and passion and joy could begin to dissolve and lead you towards something truer. For some of you, you could feel the final weight of an emotional cycle, especially if it has to do with someone else, coming to a close, especially if this means letting go of past karmic patterns. For some of you, a new structure or decision is now possible around how you give and receive love, especially if you've been learning those hard love lessons about boundaries and being your true self. Okay, Scorpios, let's do your card. Let's see what needs to come through. Scorpios, you're really being called to wake the F up. Wake the F up from being, you've built a glass, a lot of you, whoever needs to hear this message, you have built what's the phrase? A glass house, a glass roof, a glass wall, a glass prison around yourself. There's something that you're hiding yourself from that you don't need to hide yourself from because it's very self-inflicted. And you're being called to wake up and realize that you have more power than you think you have, and that you have the power to change so much more than you know. Some of you are being asked to forgive and to release and to let go and rise up for something greater. Some of you are having a resurrection, very Scorpio, very Phoenix from the ashes, Phoenix rising moment. And it's the universe now that's really asking you to rise. And some of you, yes, you're being very death and rebirth energy, very death and rebirth energy. There's something that you really have to release, and you're being asked to align yourself, to call in your higher calling and to align yourself with your higher calling, and to stop holding yourself down in these more negative emotions and to alchemize whatever heartbreak and pain that you've recently gone through or that you went through a while ago, but that you're still holding on to. And it's wonderful. It looks like it's going to really turn around for you. You don't realize how much is actually in your hands, because the divine right now is coming through and making that very known and is giving you opportunities to be able to turn a lot of this around. Hello, Sag suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your Scorpio full moon. The full moon is happening on May 12th at 22 degrees of Scorpio at 9:56 a.m. PST. This video, we're going to go more into just forecasting the full moon. It's going to be kind of an overall May energy transmission with a lot of powerful planetary shifts at play. For more info on that, check out the intro. Don't forget to listen to your rising, your sun, and your moon. And at the very end, we will be pulling tarot cards to get an intuitive message as well. I'm also quite sick, so bear with me because I lose oxygen a lot of the times in these messages. And so I might be talking a bit strangely right now and taking strange pauses and making strange noises, but I spent weeks not being able to post a video, so we're doing it right now as it is. Anyway, okay, so Sagittarius. For you, there is a very powerful emotional release or internal shift that is taking place. One that has been brewing for a while under the surface, mentally, emotionally, subconsciously, spiritually. You may have been feeling the need to retreat, to rest, or to tend to unresolved mental wounds, emotional wounds, spiritual weight, baggage. A lot of you could have been isolating, going through a period where you've been isolating a lot. A lot of you could have been feeling very down and feeling like you've been having a lot of bad mental patterns. And that's all. A lot of that is coming to an end. It's coming to a big internal release. It's coming to a big shift. For a lot of you, your dreams or your intuition or your sleep may have felt more active, symbolic, emotionally charged, hard, erratic. For a lot of you, for some of you, for a small number of you, a secret or a decision that is more private or an internal truth could have come to the surface. For some of you, something hidden as well could have come to the surface. For a lot of you, you could have experienced a spiritual or emotional release connected to a past connection, or you could be experiencing it now, and this could be what's helping you have a real mental health shift. And you could also have a release connected to a past subconscious pattern or behavior that's been holding you back. So if you, for example, have had a bad history of disordered eating habits, of being very controlling, of obsessive tendencies, of controlling tendencies, and if that was related to certain root issues, you could be going through something or having a breakthrough, whether it comes through hiring a coach, or a spiritual guide, or journaling, or just some other way of a breakthrough. Maybe it even came through an observation you had when you were spending more time alone. For some of you, you're having like big actually like a spiritual awakening in disguise as some of these emotional upheavals. For some of you, a conversation or a plan around travel, teaching, publishing, spirituality could cause you to have a bold desire that you take action towards. For some of you, you could begin a new spiritual path or adventure that leads you to question what's real and what's no longer resonant for you. Some of you could be feeling a confusing or a hard or a shift in your home or your emotional foundation, or a change right now in how you're relating to safety and to origin and to where you're from. For some of you, you could be beginning to dissolve a lot of ancestral or family patterns that could have been hard. For some of you, a final lesson around communication, overthinking, siblings, or hardships to do with your siblings, or mental control could be coming up, culminating and ending. And for some of you, you're being supported in building these new communication habits and self-talk patterns to help you stay grounded in emotional truth rather than fear, and to communicate in ways that are more aligned. Okay, let's get a channel message right now with the cards. Queen of Swords. This is, can you see here? This is a strong card, a little bit lower. So Sagittarius, it's time for you to lead with clarity, not with chaos. It's a time for you to get out of your head in some ways. Get out of your head in ways where you've been making things harder, to be more decisive, to be more clear cut, to be more true with yourself, to detach from emotional drama, to cut through the noise, to speak through your truth. You've gained a lot of wisdom through a lot of hardship, through a lot of pain, and now you're seeing things for how they are. And you're also being asked to connect more with your instincts, your intuition, to soften your boundaries with yourself that don't need to be there. But at the same time, don't soften things in your life just to make other people comfortable unless you've been being extra harsh just as a protection mechanism. You're being asked here to stand tall and strong in who you are and in your sense of self, and to use discernment, and to use your inner compass, and to trust your inner guidance and your inner self more, and to do it in a very strong way. This energy is very strong right now, and you're being asked as well to have a lot of determination in carving the path forward. This is also re-emphasizing that there's a change happening for you, really big changes mentally. This full moon is for you, bringing a lot of shifts in your internal. Hello, Capricorns, Capricorn suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your Scorpio full moon forecast. The full moon is happening on May 12th at 22 degrees of Scorpio, peaking at 9:56 a.m. PST. Exciting thing is, this is not just a full moon reading. This is kind of like your overall May energetic forecast viewed through the lens of the full moon, because we are infusing with major transits when we're taking a look at these forecasts. When I say we, I of course mean me in terms of how I approach these forecasts and how I'm looking at the astrology and how you should understand things, because there are so many things at play happening during the peak of the full moon that will be affecting the way the energy of the full moon plays out. As well as other further things, and using advanced astrological methodology to look at how we can understand this full moon's impact, even if we're just looking and doing a general reading without seeing your actual natal chart. To understand some of these really big aspects and to get the collective predictions for each of them, don't forget to check out the intro. And as well, make sure you listen to your rising sign and then your sun and your moon. Your rising sign should be the most accurate, but depending on your chart and other certain things, you may also find that your sun and moon are accurate as well. We'll also be doing a tarot pull to get intuitive messages come through. So listen to all three anyway, because there could really be a message for you. And since we're not doing a general reading now, we're not doing a personal reading now, this is just general, this will help give you the best idea. The last thing I want to say is I haven't done a video in a while because I've been going through a period where I've been abnormally sick and like struggling with some health things, hence the stuff. So I'm feeling obviously much better, knock on wood. But it is a bit hard sometimes to talk still because of the sickness. So please pardon if I sound worse than usual, or if my oxygen randomly gets cut off in terms of how I'm breathing. Or if I cough, because I'm going to try and not edit it that much. Okay, without further ado, for you, Capricorns, if something could be completing, ending, shifting, changing, or transforming when it comes around your sense of community, friendship, soul tribe, belonging, long-term dreams, and long-term goals, or even something to do with technology is something that's very prominent in your life. It could be something to do with that as well. You could be redefining who you align with and what kind of future you're building. Some truth or some secret could come out or you see the true face of friends or people you thought you could trust. You could suddenly be realizing that the friendships that fit for you in the past don't fit for you anymore. You could be redefining what it means to fit in and to belong, and who you are currently in the community you exist, or what kind of community or soul tribe you want to attract. This could be either an ending moment or a leveling up moment or a transformative moment with either a network or a group or a dream that no longer fits how your soul is developing. And you could be realizing then where you've outgrown certain places or people. And this could even mean community, not just in the sense of people, but in the sense of place. It's funny because I actually said this to another group and it really was giving it to them too. But it is kind of making me think of the Hercules movie, when he feels like he's just seeking somewhere he belongs. There could be a lot of intensity in that sense around recognition or feeling understood, and this kind of contradiction of feeling understood within a wider circle, yet maybe for some of you even just feeling like you don't even have that, or just feeling alone. And for some of you, it could be the opposite. It could be a moment of, like I said, transformation. So maybe you felt that in the past, but now suddenly you have been embodying a lot of your truth. You have been embodying a lot of yourself, and you maybe are reclaiming your influence in a way. You're reclaiming how you contribute to community in a way. You found your soul tribe, or you're healing some kind of a friendship or community relationship. And for some of you, a financial, a sexual, or an intimate, vulnerable power dynamic could somehow be showing up at this time behind the scenes unexpectedly. And this could be feeling very intense, and it's helping you reclaim some of the ownership of who you are. For some of you, healing some deep-seated wounds, traumas, fears, or, even to do with the nature of things we've talked about, or even healing some financial things, could be what's causing the change in feeling, change in friendship, change in belonging, change in community, or a want for that. Whether it's good change or seemingly bad or hard change, but in the end serves the greater good. For some of you, you could be feeling more private about things that's going on in your life, or more protective about sharing and giving, or more assertive about your boundaries. And this could be coming from where you felt like you haven't been so in the past. For others of you, you've been seeing how the opposite, but same lesson in a way, how maybe you've been being too guarded and maybe too isolatory, and where that could have held you back from actually having the sense of community that you might want. For some of you, this feeling of belonging in community and friendship, these themes could be playing out in a deeper sense of identity around home, like belonging, like I said, in a place sense, and safety. There's a shift maybe happening around how you relate to your roots or your physical environment. For some of you, it could just look like a friend is moving in or something. For some of you, you could be feeling very suddenly nostalgic, like maybe you were always living away from family, or living abroad, or living in places that you just went there because the job is good, or it just made sense, or you felt like you had to because it was the cool thing to do. And suddenly you're questioning, where is it that I actually belong? Where is it that actually feels like home, or I actually want a home? What does home mean to me? And so for some of you, that past idea, or even lack of an idea of what home was, is now dissolving, and something more spiritual or intuitive in terms of a connection is starting to take place and ground. This is something that will play out more over time, but you're starting to feel the calling for now. For a lot of you, this is all happening with Saturn being at the critical degree in Pisces. So at the same time, and this full moon would be trining that. So there's a significant mindset shift that's occurring, especially how you process emotions, boundaries, grief, and how you communicate. For some of you, this could have to do like all these feelings of belonging, friends, soul tribe, home. It could stir up things to do with siblings or short-term travel, or also to do with neighbors. Like maybe part of, maybe you want to live somewhere where you live close, like the people you love are your neighbors. This could be something. You're also feeling, it's actually helping you feel more supported in how you communicate. And you're communicating your wants and you're understanding yourself more clearly. And this is helping you create a longer term sense of safety. So that's the area in your life that you could be feeling a lot of emotional things coming up, swinging either way, or a lot of change, culminating, coming to an ending, or transforming into something new, starting a new chapter. That's where it could be pulling you. Now, Caps, let's get a channeled message. You've had a lot of internal turmoil. And for some of you, this could actually be not just internal. It could feel like a really turmoil to do again with the friend circle, with family, with community, something like that, along those senses, neighbors even. But for some of you, that's a lot of internal back and forth, internal feuding, and you're getting to the point where you're not letting it take a hold of you anymore. And some of you have also felt very stranded. I'm getting this image of almost stranded at sea. Well, I'm not just getting the image, it's on the card. The card is giving me the image of stranded at sea. But in a way, that's feeling it emotionally. And it ties to those of you who are feeling that, yeah, like that, go the distance from Hercules. Go watch Hercules. I said it to another group earlier. So you're the second group I say it to. Maybe you're in both groups, and you needed to hear this message. But this feeling of just feeling like you set out, you forgot why you set out on the path you set out at and on. It's like years ago, you set out on this path and you were seeking a type of feeling, liberation, and belonging. And then along the way, you lost your way and you got caught up in other things, daily life, daily struggles, conflict, internal conflict, issues, problems arising, obstacles that you had to push through and fight through. And you lost your way. And then suddenly you woke up one day and you realized, what am I doing here? And how did I get here? And does this really make me happy? And is this really who I am? And is this really who I want to be? And am I in the right place? And how do I get out of here? What is home? You're longing right now for a sense of grounding. You haven't felt grounded in a while. And that's because you haven't been in tune with yourself. You need to be more in tune with yourself, and you're not. And some of that has to do with some kind of conditioning. It can either be conditioning from the family, conditioning from the society, conditioning from an old version of you that no longer exists, and also conditioning from fear. Someone listening to this thinks this doesn't apply to them. Someone listening to this thinks that they don't have fear that's conditioning them. And that's actually not the case. You do. You're using, especially you're Capricorn, whether you're a Capricorn ascendant or sun or moon, you are using practicality as a shield. You are using quote unquote logic as a shield to keep you isolated in this way. And that's what's causing a lot of this internal conflict. And that is where that conditioning is coming from. And you actually think that's making you stronger somehow. You're just choosing the more logical thing, the more practical thing, the more correct thing. And actually, none of that is true. In some way that you haven't realized, even if you thought you've made the harder choice in how you're living, you've actually made the easier choice because it's easier in terms of vulnerability and emotions, authenticity, and going against the grain and making you question, of course, the path that you've been on for so long that got you to the place where you are feeling all of these things, including isolation. And so your message now, you're realizing a lot of these conflicts, whether it's, like I said, for some of you, internal, or whether it's for some of you with some external forces, be it your family, your friends, neighbor, pressure, work, etc. And you're realizing how you've played a part in ending in this place where you're kind of like, I don't know where I belong. I don't know where home is. I don't know who I am. I don't know what I'm doing here. But the thing is, you do know, and you don't realize it, but this boat in a way, just, like that phrase, not all who wander are lost. Just because you don't know where you ended up right now, somehow stranded and destitute emotionally in terms of rooting and grounding. But the awareness that you're feeling and coming to terms with what all of these conflicts were, that's pushing you to be more in tune with yourself. And even hearing this message is, and through that, you will find yourself coming back to a deeper sense of freedom and a deeper sense of truth, and creating that sense of belonging that you've been longing. Hello, Aquarius. Aquarius suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your full moon in Scorpio forecast. The full moon is happening on May 12th at 22 degrees of Scorpio at around 9:56 a.m. PST is the peak. You will feel the energy building up from now. For some people, you could feel it as early as a week before, but normally it's like 4 days before, 4 days after, with the real peak being the 3-ish window. This reading is going beyond just a basic full moon reading. It's kind of thinking of it as your May energetic forecast through the lens of the full moon, using advanced astrological insights, but also I'm looking at the meaning that of the full moon right now, the things that are affecting it that align with the other major transits happening, such as Neptune's massive life-changing for the world, really collective changing ingress into Aries, but also Saturn being at a karmic point of 29 degrees, Mars in Leo, Juno in retrograde, exactly conjuncting the full moon. All of that I talk about in detail in the intro, so listen to that. Don't forget to listen to your sun, moon, and rising, prioritizing your rising sign, and stay tuned to the end of your reading because we will also be doing a card pull and getting intuitive messages coming through, which is also why you should listen to all three, your sun, moon, and rising, because one of them may have an intuitive message for you. Okay, so for you, Aquarius, this full moon is bringing up things either emotionally or a real life event changes that have to do with your career, your sense of purpose, your public role, and leadership. It could also have to do with as well public recognition. I guess that kind of ties to public role, but like more visibility is what I mean. So this full moon for you could be bringing a job milestone, recognition, or a realization that it's time to release even a job that you've outgrown or a role you've outgrown. So depending on your personal chart, and if you want, you can always get personal reading, link in bio, but it can swing either of those vibrations or kind of story arcs, whether it's a shift happening, what you might perceive in the positive sense in terms of the growth, something new being gained, or a shift happening in the other way, which is still positive, but maybe realizing that you want to be seen more, you're not serving your life purpose, it's time for change, you want to change your career. So for some of you, it could be coming that way. For some of you, it could be coming actually actioning it out, or something happening within that. You could be being seen more publicly, or you could be feeling more pressure to realign or align with who you are. You could have an opportunity for more leadership or visibility in a sense, or an opportunity that calls you to embody more of your emotional leadership. There could be opportunities for you to align more with your intuition and spirit and your authenticity in terms of your career and your job. You could be having a death and rebirth moment when it comes to career, belonging, and vocation and life purpose. You could feel like you are totally lost in the sense and you're in the caterpillar in the cocoon phase, or you could feel like you're coming out of the other end where you've managed to alchemize and transform. For example, if you were really struggling financially or in your career, or put on a performance plan or hating your boss, this could be the chance where you're starting to actually see things change and you realize how far you've come. Or you're just making them change by getting a new boss, getting a new career, getting a new job role. For some of you, a relationship could somehow play a role in this career moment, especially if it ties to some kind of long-standing dynamic or soul contract. For some of you, forgot to mention I'm doing this coming off of a multi-week cold, so bear with me. For some of you, all of these things right now could be bringing up these changes or themes more internally, coming through ego wounds or deep vulnerability when it comes to success, self-worth, career, visibility, money, leadership, power struggles. But it's coming up, so there can be deep healing. And so you can alchemize it. And you're being called to do so at this time. For some of you, a partner, either romantic partner or business partner, may be triggering a growth moment or bringing opportunity to rework those power dynamics. And it's coming in a very bold way. For some of you, this could be the partner, again, romantic or business, pushing you to make these career changes. Maybe you decide to partner up with someone when it comes to work. Maybe your partner is super supportive, or maybe your relationship change is pushing some career momentum or some career change down the line, or maybe they're even bringing a new opportunity, or maybe they're just being super encouraging. For some of you, you're beginning a new way of you're feeling this inkling of a change in terms of how you intellectualize, how you think, how you communicate, and could be drawn in some way to either starting new endeavors when it comes to social media, technology, writing, or learning. And it somehow feels more direct, more intuitive, and more soul-led. This part is something that is just being planted right now, but you'll see grow more with time. For some of you, you could have maybe felt foggy or dreamy, or not really representing your true self, or like words getting very lost in conversations. And that's starting to change. And in a way, you're starting to trust your spiritual voice to lead more and your intuition to lead more. For some of you, an emotional money story or worth story or poverty story or work story that is somehow limiting, or a boundary pattern is reaching its final chapter and final lesson, and could be at the point where you are having to make a decision to do with that or apply the lessons that you've learned. And there could be as well like a culmination. So either a lot of money coming in, or a lot of change with how you relate to money, or vice versa. For some of you, you're being asked also to honor your worth through clear communication and through emotional truth. And at the same time, for some of you, some of these career changes that are coming through can be coming through with a lot of money, or money playing a factor, investment playing a factor somehow. So maybe you are getting a raise, getting a bonus. Something just happened in terms of that, investing, real estate, assets, stocks, investment, money, cash. I missed something that is changing net worth, that is changing your relationship with your career, your responsibilities, your role, your vocation, your life purpose. They're coming together, right? So that's good. This moon can be bringing some of those things. It could be like a promotion. It could be your company getting acquired, and then suddenly you get a lot more money. It could be the stock or the company you invested in suddenly making money, things like that. I'm saying the positive spin. For a few of you, it could go what it seems like the negative way, where you're somehow losing or having to invest a lot of money or things like that, or putting in money now. And that doesn't mean that's still a good thing. It's just a good thing in disguised. And I mean, not necessarily so disguised. It just means that, if it doesn't seem like the gain now, if it seems like, okay, the money's going out now, but it's still karmic somehow, and it's still supposed to happen because of what it is bringing in. Okay, let's go ahead and do your card pull. So there's a lot of positive energy. So even though for a lot of you listening, okay, so even though if you were listening to this, I gave a lot of examples of how these aspects and transits and energies can play out in a both positive or negative way, like I hate these words because it's all positive in the end, but in a more sort of net benefit or net loss, which then leads to benefit, but you get my idea. But for a lot of you listening, the intuitive message coming through, it's actually the energy just got lighter. What I mean by this is, excuse me. I'm back. I needed a breathing break because the nose isn't working very well. Whew, okay. What I mean by this is, yeah, the energy just got a lot lighter. You're feeling a lot more carefree. A lot of the things that are happening right now, they don't seem like it, but they were very on purpose. For some of you, there's some kind of foreignness that has to do with it, meaning that you may also be traveling, or it could be foreign investment or foreign money coming in, or a foreign job opportunity, or something to do with internationalness, travel, maybe even immigration, maybe even partnering with someone from another country, maybe expanding to an international market, maybe investors coming from abroad, maybe a foreign client. I don't know. There's something here for some of you. But things feel a lot lighter. You're at the point in your life where you're actually positively reaping what you sow in a way. And for some of you, not all of you, there's also this you could be moving as well internationally, besides just traveling. But it's the end of a cycle. It's the end of a time that may have seemed a bit more trying or hard, whether it was energetically or financially or emotionally or career-wise or something else. It's the end of a cycle, and it's the birth of a new one. And it feels like completion. It feels like a karmic debt has been paid and things are coming in. And for some of you, something is actually going to be coming in. Something is going to be coming in the form of a message, maybe. Something is going to be coming in the form of an email, a phone call, a text, a job, an offer, an opportunity. Something is coming in. It would have come in from last week. It could be coming in up to next week. Some kind of a conclusion, an offer, a message, something. There's something being communicated and intellectualized, or maybe that has been being intellectualized for a while, that is now manifesting in reality and coming in that sense. Excuse me. Sorry. There's a lot of new bright energy for you. And you're being encouraged to approach this time and any new opportunities with almost the creative belief and curious mind of a child or a teenager. Someone not jaded. You're encouraged to see the positive side of things, and you're encouraged to allow yourself to explore the creative side of things. You're being encouraged, there's like to take a risk somehow, and also, yeah, to take that risk. I know I've said it 3 times, but really there's this fresh new energy that's coming through of a cycle ending, new things starting, an opportunity coming your way in the form of some kind of a communication, and you being asked to go with it. If you get an idea sent to you, go with it. Don't sit on things. That's what you're being asked to, not sit on things. Whatever hardship you went through in the past that made things difficult, it's coming at an end right now. There's a culmination. This is the start of something new. And there's an idea that you've been having in terms of a new life path, purpose, or business endeavor that is very promising, and you're being very highly encouraged to go with it. Okay? All right, that's where we're going to stop that one there. Hello, Pisces, Pisces suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your full moon in Scorpio forecast. This is not just an ordinary full moon forecast. Besides using advanced astrological perspectives and tools to do this general reading for each sign, it's kind of also more like a May overall energy update through the lens of the full moon that's happening. And we're going to be looking and also at key planetary shifts. At least I will be in the background to make the predictions for your forecast. But to understand more specifically what some of these are, check out and listen to my intro. Don't forget as well to make sure you listen to your rising, your sun, and your moon. And then, excuse me, we will pull a card at the very end. And I'm so sorry, I'm coughing and my nose is blocked because I've been sick for a few weeks. It's a very strange time for me where I've literally been sick almost the entire of the last 3 months. So please bear with me and just go with that. Okay, Pisces, for you, you are actually one of the signs that is feeling this quite intensely as well as some of the other ones. Because for you, it's affecting you in a very in a grand, bigger scheme of things. Like, it might not seem micro at first, but it's more macro in terms of your belief system, your spiritual path, things like that. So a lot of you could have a powerful turning point happen when it comes to travel plans, education, spiritual path, belief system, like I said, career, like legal matters. So what I mean is this could look like some of you maybe passing or sitting a board exam, a certification program, doing a doctorate, starting or even enrolling in some of these places. But it's more, I feel like, a culmination or change, less so much more like in the middle or starting. So it's more the energy is either culminating, like finally ending something, passing it, working hard, or at least it progressing to the next level and transforming somehow. So something maybe that you've been studying or dreaming of or pursuing on a soul level or in reality may now become real. And you're able to feel the positive moving on from that in a way. Some of you could receive emotional clarity around a teaching, training, or truth that shifts how you relate to your worldview. Some of you, these trainings that are coming from teaching, training, truth, spirituality, travel are going to shift your view in the long run. For some of you, it could open up more opportunities to explore more different belief systems, or to travel more, or to study different things more, or to emigrate. For some of you, a long distance situation or an international connection or a decision about your future related to that or your future direction could reach its peak. For some of you, you could be deciding on moving, immigrating, traveling. You could be traveling right now. You could be doing all of these things right now, maybe filling out visa paperwork, appointments at the consulate. If you're getting a lot of ideas or downloads about things like this, like, should I move here? Should I move there? I want to go travel here. I want to go travel there. Should I do this program here? Should I apply for this job there? If you're getting a lot of downloads and seeing signs to do with that, I would go for it, because that would be synchronistic. That would be a synchronicity to the energy in your chart right now. Of course, generally, without seeing one-on-one. For some of you, you could be emotionally letting go of an old version of who you were and what you thought life would look like and what you thought life really was, and what you thought the way to do things were, and realizing that's no longer the way. If you've been living the way that other people wanted you to live, like maybe living in a certain city you didn't want to live in, or just white picket fence life, or a life where whatever, you're now seeing that that's not the lifestyle I want. Maybe you want to go live on a boat. Maybe you want to go be a nomad. Maybe you want to go live in another city. Maybe you want to live in the countryside. Maybe you want to live in a skyscraper, and maybe you want to live far from home or close to home. Whatever, you get the idea. For some of you, some of this change can also be affecting how you show up in your day-to-day responsibilities and your day-to-day work life and your health. And you may have not realized how maybe the old way of how you were doing things was affecting your health. For some of you, an old routine or an old health pattern may now feel misaligned, and now you're taking bold, grounded action to improve your energy in that sense. What else? Yeah. For some of you, you're entering a new life path in the sense of you're having a spiritual evolution. Some of you could be thinking that you've already done that, but for some of you, it's reaching kind of a new place in terms of integration with your actual daily life and your actual practicality and your actual everyday tools. For some of you, you're also entering a new chapter, and this is at the very beginning stages of money and confidence, and these sorts of things. And you're figuring out how to merge all the self-growth and the self-work stuff you've done and all the spiritual things with the everyday and with the financial. And so those things like spiritual practices and money are no longer just survival tools for you. They're going to grow more into the abundance place. You're having a very major emotional kind of milestone and culmination when it comes to this massive 1.5 to 2-year glow up that self-study, self-reflection, growth of the self that you've been so fixated on. You've had a lot of lessons recently on choosing yourself, on independence, on being strong, on embodying your true self, speaking your truth, getting in tune with what you really want and who you really are and where you want to go and what you want to be, and how you want to be perceived and how you interact with the world, and sticking for your boundaries. And the good news is that those harder phases of the lessons, they're gone. For some small amount of you, it could feel like that this next week and this week or the last week has brought more of those, but you're at the end stages. And for a lot of you, you're at the point where you're reaping the positive rewards and you're getting chance to show that you've learned those lessons. And for a lot of you, you're graduating from old emotional coping mechanisms and being asked to commit to fully, again, showing up as your full grounded self, even when it's uncomfortable, and to show that you've learned a lot of those lessons when it comes to self. For some of you, that meant about learning the balance between the sense of self and being in relationship, in the sense of, when did I sacrifice what I want? When was I not listening to my intuition? When did I allow someone to treat me badly? When did I lose myself? When was I so ready to give up me and to people please? And you've been learning a lot of those lessons the last year and a half. You might be getting final kicks of those, or now you could be like, okay, I've integrated all of those as much as I can. All right, let's take a look at what intuitive messages we have for you. I want to mention more about the travel thing. I know I touched on it quickly. Some of you could be flying or traveling right now, and that is true. But there's something profound about it. And so for some of you who are hesitant about taking a trip, do it. And for some of you that might be like, why am I even going on this trip? There's something that's important about it that will change your life somehow, whether spiritually or otherwise. Some of you, okay, now for the messages coming through. Some of you have really been struggling financially. Some of you, it's not actually directly financial, meaning that you may have actually had more than other people struggling financially. But for you, it's felt like a lot of pressure, like that your life, your emotions, your nervous system, your decisions, your energy was being ruled by money and resources and budgets and finances and this kind of stuff, even if maybe you were more well off than you have been in the past. For some of you, no. You felt like your work was not paying off. You felt like your effort was not paying off. You started to wonder if the universe actually wants you to live this way, if abundance and money and struggling is not meant for you, if your skills are not meant to actually reap good things, if success just doesn't happen for you, but happens for other people. For some of you, you've gotten that, but you still feel empty somehow, and that it's not enough, and you are still somehow striving for more. And the message here is, no, your hard work is paying off, whether it's been hard work in the work sense or in the emotional sense, in the healing sense, in the energetic sense. It is paying off. You're going to enter a period. It can come through the form of collaboration. It can come through the form of a deeper connection with spirit, or it can just come through the form of after healing all that you healed with yourself. But you're going to come through a collaboration where you're going to have so much that you're going to be able to give back, that you're going to be able to give, that you're going to wake up and go, wow, has this become my life? How did my life change so quickly? And Spirit is saying for you to stick through things, to watch your mindset though. You might not realize in some ways, even if you're not seeing it directly financially right now, although you should be and will be soon, but you may not be realizing how far you've come, and you just have to stick through it and stick through doing things that way, and things will be fine. You're going to be having more money coming in. The period of feeling destitute, feeling in some ways in survival, that's coming to an end for you. It's coming to an end. And for you, you don't want to do something like you have a very, I'm trying to say this. It's a beautiful energy what you will do when you have more abundance and more money. It's a beautiful energy. And you're not someone who's motivated to have more abundance or money for the same reason that a lot of other people are. It's coming from a place, they're coming from very love-led places when we overpass the survival aspect as well. And so for you, there's this beautiful energy. And that's one of the reasons that maybe up to this point, you have struggled to feel the satisfaction of where you are financially. because of the relationship that you have had with money and how it might be different than with other people. You're also healing a lot of the limiting beliefs there. And good things are really coming your way. You have a guide that has been guiding you and with you and is saying to not lose hope in that sense and to stay with it, and that there is a change in the energy coming now with that. Okay. So that was your reading, Pisces. Thank you. And that also concludes all of the 12 signs. Again, if you've entered to win the giveaway in the past, you'll know if you're the winner by checking the comments of this video. If you want to enter the new one, all you have to do is subscribe and comment to let me know you've subscribed. And then every additional comment after that, you can comment as many times as you want, counts as an additional entry. If you have any questions, feel free to comment them below. If this or any other parts in any of the other videos resonated with you, or has already coming true, or anything like that, I would love to hear it and love to know. So please feel free to comment that as well and let me know. Let me know also your sun, moon, and rising. I'd love to know, the different energies that I'm attracting on these videos. And full moons are always emotional times, especially Scorpio full moons, and especially you are Pisces. So even if you're not feeling it now, the day I post this, anytime from the week before to the week after of the full moon could feel like an emotionally heightened time for you, but it could also feel like a rebirth time, lots of death and rebirth energy. And so that's an amazing time. So this full moon is bringing a lot of beautiful things for you, and it's in a very expansive place in your house for you. So if you're one of the Pisces that's traveling, have safe travels. If you're one of the Pisces that's just finishing some kind of education or endeavor, congratulations. And if you're one of the ones that are going through deep spiritual and emotional changes and upgrades to your relationship with yourself and your boundaries, then congratulations as well, and bravo, and keep going at it, because you're going to be blessed very soon beyond in so many ways. And a lot of that's opening up for you will be financial as well.